So this criticism is written by Franz Vischer. If you don't know who he is, you've probably seen his work in Roger Rabbit, Mickey's Christmas Carol, Cats Don't Dance. He's an animation veteran, and he saw the recent Disney Wish, and he has a couple of words to say about it. He says that he agrees with most reviews and opinions. Wish was made by committee with the usual shopping list of content. Bland sidekicks, dumb throwaway jokes, characters that look and act like typical Disney characters, especially the heroine and the animation. It is technically well done, but he considers it to be a visual pizza to mask the lack of substance. And this can be said for at least 4 or 5 Disney features. What really struck him about Wish is the animation. Everything is overreacted. Every tiny nuance has its own gesture or pose, making the character move almost constantly. The overdone lip synchronization, every consonant painstakingly enunciated as if the characters speak to the hearingly impaired. It seems that the technology of CG animation has given animators such control that everything must move all the time. The beauty of animation sometimes lies in the lack of movement. And he gives example to 101 Dalmatian. These characters move when they need to, and the salad gesture works within held pose. But in Wish, the movement is almost constant. Cliche reading, distracting hand gestures, non-stop head tilts, shoulder moves up and down. It's as if the technology is driving the art instead of the other way around. I personally experienced this with my own video game. I commissioned an animator from China, and his style of animation was so different that I usually noticed. Like, the thing with animations is that if they're done well, you probably don't notice anything about it. Like, they look normal, right? Like, no one usually go out of its way to thank the animator for a job well done. However, when it is different, you notice it. And it's like, it can be different in quality, which this isn't the case. A difference in quality is basically when, if my troll, for example, right? If it were to move in a bizarre manner, like in an anatomically incorrect manner, people would notice. And that would be due to the quality. But there is also a difference in style. And when I commissioned an animation from a Chinese person, everything was bouncing. Like, literally everything had to move, and it was a hand-drawn animation of a pixel character for a video game. But he had a bow tie, and as he was walking, the bow tie was bouncing. And you know, it's interesting because it's not necessarily like, it's not a thing of quality, because the bow tie was bouncing with his steps, so you kind of notice it. But the very fact that he made it bounce, that's the Chinese style. And this is also the live 2D style. A lot of live 2D animators, like, they go out of their way in order to make everything bounce and everything move. And the reasoning for this is that it is visually pleasing. It just looks better. Like I have seen a VTuber model which is rigged to look realistic, and it's boring, it's bland, versus, you know, the booby physics and the jiggle physics. Like, yeah, like tits in real life, for instance, they don't move in a very bouncy manner. But when you see an anime girl that has titties that move in a bouncing manner, it is visually pleasing. So with that out of the way, I just wanted to say that I kind of disagree with him in a take that, you know, there's different styles of animation. I wouldn't say that the old way that Disney used to make things is wrong either. Anime still does it. But if you have like a style where everything moves and bounces, that's not necessarily bad. What is bad is the obnoxiousness of it, right? Like, it's another style. I would say, like, the Cal Art style, which is indeed obnoxious. Like where the people are talking as if they're hearingly impaired, is how it was described. That, yeah, like, that is cringe. It is like a hyper emphasis on everything, and everything must move in order to, I guess, like, make sure that the person that's suffering from ADHD doesn't lose focus, right? This is like a very American style that I personally don't like. And I do agree with the animator from this perspective. But like, just by having animations where everything moves, as long as it makes sense and as long as it's not cringe, that's different and that's fine. However, like part of the criticism that I really got fixated on, and this is why I think it's important, is to point out that yes, this is done by committee, isn't it? And this is why Disney is incapable of making good art anymore. They are paying for an astonishingly high number of people. Like, they're paying for the HR lady, they're paying for the diversity officer, they're paying for all these people who have to be included into the creation process. So you no longer have like one, maybe two people in a room that get to write a script. Now you have like 20 people in a room. And there's a whiteboard, and they're all pitching ideas, and they're deciding, well, we can't have this because it's 2023, we can't have that because it's current year. And then they create by committee, which makes it so that the product seems as if it's coming from an assembly line. And this is not art, right? Like, Michelangelo didn't create his masterworks by committee. Leonardo didn't do so either. In fact, it is difficult to think of a video game that became a cult classic or a movie that became a cult classic which was created by committee. I'm not saying that it can't happen. I'm not saying that there aren't any. But chances are that there are a lot more good examples that were created simply by one, maybe two people that had an idea, than examples where they all got in a room and they were talking. It's like, oh, what makes Star Wars cool? Oh, I know, dinosaurs, the Force, robots, diversity. They actually did that like it's a meme. It's hilarious. And yeah, like they don't take risks anymore. And the reason, again, like the production of these things is astonishing. It doesn't need to be this high. And because like it costs to make one of these movies as the GDP of a small nation, they don't want to take risks. They don't want to create something that would shock people, right? And you're not going to get the new Pirates of the Caribbean like this. And usually once they do create something, they start milking it to the point where it becomes boring. Again, Pirates of the Caribbean is the perfect example. I love that movie. They thought that it's going to be a bad movie. They thought that it's going to be like something that just breaks even. But it was so popular because it was different. I mean, a movie about pirates, how cool is that? And then they started milking it. But unfortunately, we're not going to get another movie that's about pirates or about anything. It's just like milking franchises. And when they do create something new like this, it's still written by committee. Let me know what you guys think, though. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.